Hmm? The Forever Lazy. It came in 3 colors. They were selling them at Walgreens for a little while. I was tempted to buy it, but I wanted to see if we could get them monogrammed with our names. It would be the new cult. You gotta laugh, you know, the whole point. Part of this whole thing is, well, for me, it always triggers laughing because there's nothing you can do. It's just absurd. Because there's a tendency to believe the change would start here, yeah, but it isn't. This gets changed. This doesn't do anything really. This is a form of expression, or it's an afterthought. It's mind hears something. Mind just goes, there's a ripple in it, and then there's changes. And of course, your little stenographer tries to keep up with the story with this biased take that you had something to do with it, yeah? But that comes after. So the mind goes through a ripple, and then the reverberations may show up like months later, and then immediately you start writing a story, what you did to produce this, or get yourself ready to receive it, or it just goes on and on. You can't get out of it through it, you know? You can't. And the habit, yeah?
I was going to say, you use that word mind. I sometimes I wonder what you mean by mind. You use it in an interesting
Well, I
way.
like the old mind is like the old Chinese Zen type thing, mind. Like in the old translations of the Chinese Zen masters, they would call it mind, big M mind. Yeah. Now I feel that resonates with me. That's all. And then, you know, I call what some people would call relative mind, I call that mental processes. Yeah. Yeah. I see a total difference in mind and mental processes.
Mind is kind of like consciousness.
Mind is what holds consciousness, or what's big, you know. It's the whole enchilada, I would say. But the mental processes are a different thing. They're very, well, in a sense, everything is dreaming, yeah? So we talk as if this thing has mental processes, but there's just mental process that really imply this thing, yeah, yeah, yeah. So like Ramana would say, the mind is making the body. The mental process of making the body. Yeah. So the body, there is no body, it's appearing to be so. Yeah. Yeah. So the mental processes, I would say, the way I like to talk about them, and you know, I don't do any fucking research, you know, just sort of things just come. So there's the thought system, you know, and obviously if you've been under it, it's self-centered, yeah? The system is centered on you as the doer, the thinker, the feeler, the loser, the haver, yes? Yeah. And then there's the memories, which picture you as a body. When there's a remembrance of you, the you that's remembered is pictured as a body, yeah? So let's say there's a sense of you, but that sense of you always gets tagged to a body. After a while, the body will be assumed to be you. Yes? You know what I mean? There's a feeling of what you are, and then it's always, by the mental processes, is tagged to the body. Yeah? The memories tag it right to the body. So there's a cognizance or sentience of the onness, but the onness is attributed to Paul as a body. It doesn't go there naturally, it's directed there by the mental processes, yeah? So the mental processes, the thought system thinks of you as a body, yeah? When it says, I'm the thinker, how you picture that is as a body, yeah? I'm the doer, you picture it as a body. What else would do, yeah? I'm the feeler, you picture it as a body. So there's the memories picture you as a body. The thought system just assumes that you're a body. And then there's the perceptual processes which see things, yeah? We don't see nothing, we see things that are appearing, yeah? And so if I see outside bodies, then there's another leap to I must be a body, yeah? Just like if you watch a kid, when there's a sense of versus just what is, you know, there's no difference between mother or not, but then it starts noticing differences, and that's when its sense of being self arises, yeah? It's like it's programming. Programming kicks in, and then the programming projects the dreaming. And then the starting point gets placed there, so you start from what comes after consciousness. Yeah. So consciousness, I would say, if you looked at us in an unbiased manner, or you just observed, you would probably say you're consciousness. Not as a body, because the consciousness is before the body, in a way. Yeah? Before there's a you, there's consciousness. There's seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching. Before there's a seer, there's seeing. The seeing is claimed to imply the seer, that suddenly now is placed before the seeing. But the seer, there is no seer without seeing. Yeah? So the seeing is claimed, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching, and you're not demonstrating effort or thought doing any of it, are you? Hmm? It's not like I had a heavy day of seeing today in a fog. So I was exhausted by 1 o'clock. You're not sweating or, panting, with the conscious are. There's no, it's just being what it is. It's conscious, yeah? So it's being what it is, and it's coming through these 5 possibilities, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching, and it's having an experience, all right? So there's consciousness is what's in contact here. If you really just looked at it, if you could, as not a body, look at it and you say, all right, what was first in this place of experience? It's that which is seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching, yes? Everyone has that same 5 little contact points, and then everyone probably is saddled with the story that they're the one that's in contact. But so you have a zillion different ones that are in contact, but it's the exact same contact, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching, which is not of a one, So that would be the obvious thing. So then there's conscious contact. When you were a kid, you were in it a lot because you hadn't entertained some insane ideas like I could be out of the moment or whatever. It was just, yeah. So there's conscious contact, and then there's the mental process, goes off, and the mental process goes, hey, it claims the conscious contact and writes a story that you're the one that's in conscious contact. So just like it uses all the thoughts to be attributed to as a body, it actually claims the activity of what you are here, which is consciousness in contact, to be an attribute of the body. Yeah. So now when you go, I'm conscious, what you're pictured as in the brain as a body. You're not pictured as consciousness. You can't imagine what consciousness would look like, yeah? You have no way to imagine it. So everything's framed with the body idea. So when you're thinking incredibly wide open thoughts, they're still framed, yeah? They can't escape, in a sense. Now there's intuition and other hits that come through. They're like fucking little comets that come through this giant, asteroid belt of basic thinking, sometimes, or whatever, but basically the conscious contact is claimed, and then suddenly you, as that which comes after, is implied to be before everything. So you start all day from this. So if it was a game board, it would be as if you skipped the starting point and you started, let's say, at 6, the 6 square. And so everyone's looking at life from the 6 square, coming up with some idea what's going on, yeah? But in fact, The whole thing would be explained if you were on square zero. And the point of this message is you are on square zero. Square 6 is only an appearance at square zero. Yeah, square 33 is just an appearance at square zero. Square 854 is an appearance at square zero. All there is square zero. Yeah, there's a dreaming, there's a seemingly so that we're going through all these mechanisms, but you see that they're so entwined with this idea of time. I would think it would raise some suspicion. Yes. That a lot of what's going on and taken to be so needs time for it to happen. I don't see, something happens, or you hear something, or you put on a spiritual shoe and it fits, or something triggers you, hey, the seeker is the sought, or whatever, or St. Francis, what's looking is what you're looking for. That's not the end of it. Mind entertains. Mind, not the mental process. Mind entertains, yeah? It hears something that resonates in it, yeah? And some of these things have lasted in a seeming dreamlike place for thousands of years, yeah? These little cryptic sayings, because they've got some, they're the language here. They're like the hieroglyphics of this place that mind can read. Yeah, mind goes, hey, come on in, bro. Grab a chair. Yeah. So you get a hit, and then hopefully it explains to you. You have what quote unquote you have been doing. You have been looking from what you're not for what you are. All the while being what you are, looking for what you are from what you're not. That's the correction. The correction is when the correction gains traction, there was no need for a correction. And if you spend 20 years and you finally arrive, it tells you it's always been this way. So did you arrive? You had never left. So the fundamental misstep we're speaking of, it's the only way it could come to pass that what you are could seemingly forget what it is through what you are being identified as what you're not. And there it is. The body is the object of the denying of what you are by being identified as what you're not. Yeah. And then everything, your life starts from there, starts at the square of what you're not. And then maybe you get disappointed or disillusioned by many things and you enter the last house on the block, quote unquote spirituality. But this is when these warnings become valuable, because basically, to me, high-end spirituality are warnings. They're just warning us that, hey, Buddha, aka Paul, you cannot use yourself to find yourself. Yeah? Hey, mind, big mind, aka Paul, you can't use mind to seek mind. You can't use light to seek light. Now, either this guy was crazy or he knew of what you are, which is light, mind, and Buddha, and he was trying to get that through to what you are through the morass of obscuration of what you're not. So it was tempting to share something that would get over your freaking head so it would land in everywhere. It doesn't have to aim, all it has to do is throw over your head. So that when you reach and you go, I got it, something actually gets it. Yeah? And then what happens? You'll find out. This is true. Well, I don't want to say this, I got people upset with me. So I'm not going to say it this way. But you'll find out in months. Yeah, in months, maybe a couple of days, you'll see the effects. And you'll realize what this is an expression. Really. If you're in a sense of peace and contentment, that which was knocking on a fucking dealer's door at 4 in the morning to get fucking coke is like chilling out, looking at birds, you know, freaking eating sunflower seeds. How could that person be doing this? It doesn't make any sense because there wasn't that person, nor is there this person. There's just an appearance going on, yes? And now the appearance is demonstrating more of an affinity to the no-thingness in a sense than to the thingness. Yeah, so therefore its expressions are different. And in my case, I don't do anything to improve myself. I do stuff to maintain the body condition. I don't do anything to improve myself. So then when the improving continues to keep happening, it's obvious I had nothing to do with it because I haven't done anything. Yeah? I'll be sitting there, just unbelievable cacophonous silence going off, and at 5 minutes before that, I was looking at the batting averages of the Yankee starters. I wasn't going over 8,000-year-old scriptures. I was reading about the New York Yankees on River Avenue Blues, my favorite blog. What? So if he's going to say, oh, that's what's going to trigger that, it wouldn't make much sense to people but they believe what they're doing triggered it. And that doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. I really feel the door swings wide when you lose interest in the door, to tell you the truth. Yeah. And some of the byproducts, hey, never getting gypped. Yeah, I'm always here. Just constantly. I don't have to practice to get here, nor do I think lack of practice gets me exiled. I just don't. And as you believe, so it is in a lot of cases, yeah? So when you finally see what's true, what's translating to be true, and you submit yourself to that, see what happens. Maybe you hit the jackpot, so to speak. Yeah? So you see what you're not from what you are. Instead of looking for what you are from what you're not. That's all it is. It's just a switch. And then see where it takes you. Maybe you'll become a massage person. Maybe you become a great meditator. Maybe you won't do any stuff like that. It won't matter because the inherent condition isn't amplified or decreased to you. Yeah? It's always available at all times, right where you are. But I want to have that stabilized peace and bliss all times. Well, then fucking work on a lot of experiences. Yeah, try to get all the experiences because bliss comes and goes. Yes? Super high comes and goes. If you attach to the super high, you're going to be attached to the super low. And it will come. And then you'll write a story that you did something to lose the super high. Again, it's all about you. Every freaking thing. Everything that mind, the mental state, becomes in contact with, it writes a story, and it always writes you as the main character. Even the search to find the absence of Paul is a chunk full of Paul. Yeah, to the point of these things, these talks, people are trying to be a non-self, but as a self. They want to get rid of some of the qualities of Paul, and they think absence will do it, emptiness will do it, but they want to be there to enjoy it, which is, again, just obsession with Paul. So you try to get out, you're in. Yeah? You try to lose interest, that's interest. Yeah? That which is playing God tries to quit playing God, that's playing God. You cannot erase your role here. You're everything. You're the dreaming of the dreaming. The Course in Miracles, I love it for this. It doesn't say you're in a dream, somehow I just dropped in and this. No, it says you're the dreaming. I mean, you are the activity of this place, yeah? So if you're the dreaming, and that appears, and that false evidence is appearing real, which is an acronym for fear, the only way false evidence can appear real is it has to appear real to what's real, yes? How could it appear real? It would have to cause a belief in what's real to make it seem to appear real, yes? False evidence can appear real. It's false evidence. But it can appear real to what's real. That's dreaming. Yeah? So, I don't know, this switcheroo occurred a long time ago, and from that point, I've not looked for any other answer concerning this topic. I have not looked for extreme radical additions or, you know, turbocharged or whatever. No. And, you know, I'd have to say it's been the last answer, which is an incredible answer, because it negates all need for any other answer concerning this topic. Yeah? Year after year, day after day, the whole case was closed. It was like an unspoken yes. It reverberated, continues to reverberate. It doesn't need any affirmation. It's in and of itself the light, the mind, and the Buddha. And there you go. Yeah. Get established there, see how it goes. Yeah. Maybe the action figure will try to mirror it the best it can, and it'll give up because it can't. And maybe, just maybe, the always never arrived that state of acceptance may arise, yeah? And that which was like an urban renewal project, which constantly was a demand to get better or improve or whatever, that whole budget is removed and put into like now, yes? So your interest and attention is enriching your day instead of enslaving you past days and future days, yeah? I truly believe that if you don't see this, you're going to be looking from its effects. If you don't see that there is what's looking from what's not, yeah, and trying to find what's looking, yeah. All that needs to be questioned is the identification with what's not. There's no adding to what's looking. It is what you've been looking for. The seeker is the sought, yeah? It's not like the seeking has to be suspended and then, yeah, the sought will work really hard and be the seeker. No. Or the seeker will really work hard and be the sought. It says the seeker is the sought. Now, while they're seeking, that which is seemingly seeking is what is being sought. Yeah? How could that be if it's Paul? It would totally dismiss all your drive for looking for shit for 30 years. Yeah? But if you see you're not Paul, it makes complete sense. The Buddha, aka Paul, has been using Buddha to seek the Buddha. And therefore, as Ramana says so beautifully, in that presupposing of a non-existent thing, wanting to get salvation for the non-existent thing, let's say the body, yes? The body doesn't exist in and of itself. It's animation, yes, the animation. If the animation disperses this thing, your eyes can be perfect, they're not going to see a fucking thing. You may have perfect livers and kidneys, they're not pumping anything out, yeah? There's something that is missing. So, the presupposing of this non-existent thing to be that which is existing, and then that which is existing seeks for salvation through and for the non-existent thing. That is the dilemma. Wear it. If it doesn't fit, freaking do something else. To me, I put on these freaking spiritual shoes. They became like household slippers, you know. So he says, okay, if if this is the case, and I mean, wear it. This is somebody is presenting a diagnosis, and then maybe you'll recognize the disease. So he says, all right, the presupposing a non-existent thing, wanting to get salvation for the non-existent thing. Obviously, that's crazy, unless what is existing takes itself to be the non-existent thing, and then fuels the non-existent thing as if it's existing, and now that seeks for salvation. Yeah? It says, if this is the case, your spiritual practices themselves are being used to reinforce the non-existent thing. Okay. And then it stops there and goes, how can they destroy it? How that which is fueling the fire put the fire out? And as long as you're there in the formula, that's the gas. Yeah? So you may be thinking like you're putting all these blankets on the fire, but they're fucking soaked in gas. And what happens with the self-centeredness, all the faults, all the blame goes on you. You never look at the formulation. You never question the starting point. You assume that everyone's been telling you the truth. I want to get to the boardwalk, stay away from Baltic Place, whatever, yes? But you have no freaking idea how many times this game board has been sold over and over and over again. And then some masters have been here and they attempted to warn us of some simple freaking pitfalls. You cannot, whatever can be perceived cannot be perceived. Another great Zen statement is, you cannot use activity to produce stillness. That would be activity. All right? Argue with it as much as you like. I felt my arguing with it was done unconsciously, and when it was pointed out to me, I saw it. Yeah? And then that sort of, my spiritual pants fell down. I never picked them up, and there you go. I just attempt to share because I didn't have a fucking clue. Sitting in that fucking retreat for 13 hours, meditating like crazy. I had no idea that I truly was. I thought, all right, what's looking is what I'm looking for, all right? What's looking, going through 50-page of requirements to become what I'm looking for. That's basically what was going on. And every time I did stuff, there would be more pages of requirements added. And it looked like I gave it a good shot, and I realized, geez, you know, I got a feeling it's going to keep going like this. I'll look like I'm living a certain life, but what the hell? Yeah. And then I read a simple thing in this magazine, Tricycle, this Buddhist magazine, beautiful magazine, and there was like this op-ed from a meditation teacher, and I don't care about meditation. It's great for the fucking action figure. It's great. Your nerves will get better, maybe your digestion, shit like that. And when that mind, that mental process isn't as active as usual, there is a peace, but it's a peace that's based on an absence of something or a controlling of something. I want the peace that passeth all understanding. That's an easy peace to understand. I did this, I did that, my mind gave calm, and therefore I have peace. That's understandable. But what is the peace that passeth all understanding? Yeah? That is, you are that which you're looking for. Because the mental state does not understand that. It does not. Because first of all, because it has claimed to be you, and it says, I've invested 30 years looking for what's... I mean, look at my bookshelf. Look at all the clothes. Look at all the... There's a lot of investment, you know? Who wants to be shown to be a fool? Yeah? Yes, go ahead. Yeah. I'm taking questions.
If you hadn't wrestled with it and said, done those 13
Yeah.
retreats. If you hadn't wrestled with it, you wouldn't have really caught this message, still, right? If you hadn't had your own personal struggle with this, like would this have hit you?
Well, that's the way it looks, because there's two levels going on. There's the action figure.
Yeah.
So let's say if this place was like the film industry, yeah? So everyone was going to play out certain things, but it was going to be done like in a film. So, yes? So here is someone is lacking something, goes through all this trouble, gets this noble bug bitten on his ass, starts working for it, and it leads to a day where he realizes there's nothing that needed to be done. Sounds good. But see, when you arrive at that moment where it says there was nothing, when it tells you, hey, there was nothing that needed to be done, it doesn't exclude the past or the future. It just goes, it negates it all. I'm just sharing what happened. So when it downloads, and the sufficient manner is there's a contrast. Yeah, you're in a certain way, and then something hits you that's not of that way. All right, so then it's noticeable. So it goes, bam-o, and then you're like really, and then it just informed me, whatever it says, and it's always been this way. And so it sort of invalidated that whole story that had validation every step of the way while I was telling anyone or myself. But when I did arrive, it told me that I had never left. Now, but in the film industry, in the Hollywood of the dreaming, we take it from here and then it ends up 2 hours later there. But when it ends up 2 hours later there, it really negates the whole 2-hour movie. So it actually makes it much easier to live through the movies. Yeah, you can live through tons of them. Yeah. What would happen? It's like that thing I saw in Philadelphia at that yoga studio. It was a famous yoga mantra or chant or something, and she translated. So they may have translated many ways, but it was sort of like, what was it? Gone, gone, gone to the other shore. Having arrived at the other shore, on having never left. Yes, yes, yes. Don't you gotta get the little flavor of it, yeah? So, all right. So in Hollywood, it would be gone, 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 and then arriving at the other shore. And now the non-duality message of the movie would be on having never left. Yeah? So you can really enjoy the movie because you had never left. Yes, yes. So this action figure can, it's sort of like going outside of a spaceship and you have like 50 feet of coil. You can cut the coil. It does its thing, and then when it rolls around, but it's on having never left. Nothing ever really happened, yeah? Have you, on your worst day, were you singing? Your worst day, were you seeing? And on your best day, were you seeing? The worst fucking situation, let's say when I got ran over by a car, and I came to in the hospital, and it started dawning on me what had happened, because I had no idea when I first woke up. Seeing was pouring out. I saw my sister-in-law in the doorway. I knew I was screwed by the look on her face, the scene, and then a great day, meeting my lovely whatever, and a great, great day, the same scene, yeah? Doesn't seem to have any bias or preference, does it? You're hearing, I heard people like chasing me, stop motherfucker! I heard that just as much as, oh Paul, you've really helped me in this, yeah? So there's obviously, in the true verification of us here, you'd have to say consciousness is the demonstration of what's happening, because it seems to be all of us, yeah? As everyone is seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching, so we can unite there, yeah? Yeah, and that seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching doesn't seem to demonstrate much thought or effort, does it? We're just seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching all day. We take it for granted, obviously, don't we? Can you imagine how miraculous this is, really? But you would take it for granted completely, like, oh, wow, you know. This is amazing how the mental process can just sort of minimize everything and make nothing into something, you know? Yeah, it's crazy. All right, so you would say that which really is the demonstration of us as one, which is seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching, yes? Demonstrates no thought or effort to see, hear, feel, taste, and touch, yeah? Now, your hearing can go bad because of the ear, but it's not because of consciousness, yeah? All right. So why would we believe that thought and effort would bring us to that which demonstrates no thought or effort? Yeah. Now, Rama would say that all spiritual realization, everything, is really about seeing what you're not. It's just the removal of all the obscuring, yeah? And then the obviousness shines, you know, obviously. Now, maybe, just maybe, if you saw the center of all the obscuring as not you, yeah, you would lose interest in it, and the obscuring would still be going on, but it isn't like that which you want to get to is on the other side. It's sort of like the idea of if you're on Earth, let's say, and there's the sun, and you want to get some sun, but clouds at that point, in this position, clouds could block you off from the sun, yes? No matter how much you suntan, or this is the only week I can go to Hawaii or whatever, yeah? You're sort of at the effect of the clouds in this desire of the sun. But what would happen is, if you saw you were not that, the body, maybe you're on the sun side. Now you still see the clouds, but the clouds don't have the ability to block you off from the sun anymore because of how you're seeing, yeah? From here, they have a lot of influence. From here, the same clouds, they don't, yeah? It's sort of what it's like. I'm saying we're appearing to be here with a lot of obscuring clouds seemingly able to block us off from the sunlight of the Spirit, but it's only appearing to be true to us, yeah? I don't think it ever happened or will ever happen, because how could it? Yeah? How could that which we are be separated from that which we are? Yeah? Now, if we were something else and we had to find it, then a lot of shit could happen, yeah? Really, yeah? But humbly, a lot of these people who have shared in the past have actually pointed it out that you are what you're looking for. So maybe they were off, yeah? Who knows? But if you got, it would be like, you know, the Baseball Hall of Fame. If you have St. Francis of Assisi, you have Buddha. Hey, events happen, deeds are done, yet there's no individual doer thereof. Buddha, Huang Po, Ram Maharshi, Nisargadatta Maharaj. You have a lot of heavyweights, and maybe a lot of women in there. Yeah, you have a lot of heavyweights in that little gallery. Yeah. Now I looked at 4 other galleries, and I finally ended up there. But ending up there dismissed my any urge to look at any more galleries. Thank you. Thanks for making it available, and because self's not going to get out of self. So how am I going to get out of what I want to get out of? I'm not. I've got to see I'm not in. Yeah, that's the solution. The solution to the imaginary problem is seeing that it's imaginary. If you don't, and you try to apply a solution that just gave the imaginary problem a reality because you're real. Yeah. I mean, if you listen to the Course, what does it, well, take it to where it wants to take you. You and I give everything all the meaning it has. That's a pretty incredible statement. It isn't saying, hey, Jill and Mary. It says you and I are giving everything all. There's two absolutes there. In one sentence, everything all. So you and I are giving everything all the meaning it has. I would say, you know, the buck stops here. Not here, but in what we are. We are the dreaming, on the dreaming end. Maybe that would allow the dreamt to travel lighter. It seems to have worked with me. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yes.
So, how do fears work? Because it seems like it seems like the self is fabricated, but it's vulnerable to be seen through, and then it seems like that's like the beginning of fears there. That like I as a self and like it's always possible for me to be hurt mentally or personally or physically or something like that. If I'm a self with the body, right? And it's like I don't want to be here for that to happen, right? So there's like an absenting
well, it's disassociation. It's not absent. It doesn't have it. Its solutions aren't solutions. Right?
And there's an immediate sense of like a time, right? A time that something bad could have happened to me in the past, or something bad could happen to me.
It's memory, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it isn't happening to you. It's the action figure. The action figure is programmed and is programming. Yeah? So, it's having its own experience here. That's the ride, see? A lot of people think they're on a ride and they want to get off it. This is the ride. This is the ride. In the dreaming, it's like the amusement park area of the dreaming. We're on and we paid good money to be totally convinced this is real, and it's a damn fucking good ride. And you want to get off the ride, but as the ride. That's why you can't get out. Yeah?
Because I continue to be so infatuated with this idea of the self created.
You don't, no, but your mind, the mental process is. See, that's the beauty of it. You're just a neutral space in a way. Yeah? But the attention and interest that we represent, or represents us, is in the story. Yes? And therefore, the amount that it's in the story is as real the story is going to appear. If the interest and attention lifts off, just like when you're doing something you love, you forget most shit. Yeah? Yeah. Well, that's a damn good free sample. So the interest and attention is drawn to the story of being a body. Yeah? The mental state is in love with itself. Yeah, it's in love with what it's making. Like in Buddhism, they call it the cherishing of self. You know, there's a cherishing of it. Yes, you're not that cherishing too many others, but you, yes, you've been listening to the same thoughts for 40 years. That if they were seen as Stanley's, you would have wanted to turn them off like in the first hour. So there is something that's programmed. So, but all the while that's going on, there is that which is context. Yes. So there's content. It's just like when someone says, "Hey, Paul, you talk about it as if it's easy not to be the body." And he says, "I find that incredibly difficult." Yeah, because the body was talking to me. He was identified with the body, And so in the identification of the body, it has to seem almost impossible to get out of the body. That's part of the fucking programming, yeah? But you're there as what you are. No matter how focusing the aperture is or loosened, there's a space that you are. And if you've intimated it, even if the attention interest just skimmed off it for a second, what it comes back with here is a knowing that wasn't produced or acquired here. It came from what we are, yeah? And that thing emits its own light. It's not like, you know, you don't have to polish it or anything like that. Yeah, and to me it was like an unspoken yes, and it's reverberated ever since. Yeah. Now, who knows what happened? I don't believe anything happened. I believe, see, here where you can seem not to be in what's happening, yeah. Yeah. Here, see, what's happening, for us to be in what's not happening, we have to be entertaining it as what's happening. Yes? Yes? Yeah. So let's say what happens there. There's a loss of interest, maybe just for a moment, in what's not happening, and then something is obvious. Yeah? And that can never be forgotten and can never be remembered. It's so now, when all the huffing and puffing goes on, and the huffing believes the puffing, and the puffing believes the huffing, you're around the huffing and the puffing. And so the huffing says, I'm really in the puffing, and the puffing says, I'm really fucking the huffing. And yet you're not, you know, the body, everything, but there's, I don't like the word witness, but there is there's like it's not getting in that fucking mental dueling, yes? It's not, it's allowing all this to occur, yeah? And if you see it, what happens sometimes, this is how I try to explain it. With me, I went to a talk once, years ago, one of the first ones I ever went to. I had been reading I read a book by a guy named Ramesh Balsekar, Who Cares? Very cool book for me at the time. And he talked about the law of probability and how this whole place is choreographed. You know, everyone thinks they're doing shit, but if you didn't, that's why, you know, the house never loses in casinos, everything, because they're based on law of probability. Yeah, so yeah, it's pretty interesting. And so I went to a live satsang, some lady. And I walked in there, you know, you can feel the energy, you know. And I shared, because she was talking, and there wasn't many people, it was like this, really, a little more. And I said, you know, wow, something's happened since I've been here, because came in here and I was watching, you know, I was seeing mental states, I was seeing like physical states and emotional states, but there was an assumption that it was me seeing the mental states. Now hearing the satsang, I realized that's a mental state, claiming to be seeing the other mental states. So this aperture went like this. It was almost like living in an aperture of like a camera, you know what I mean? But the camera's on us almost. So here's the aperture, and you know, and then you're used to it. You never even look up really, and then it went like that. What? So there was something more got revealed. So I saw, you know, I saw the selfing really. I saw the selfing claiming to be the one seeing the physical condition and this and that. And so bam, whoa, that was cool. Opened up more. And then, as the month or so went by, I could see, you know, then there's clarity and everything this. But there was a claiming of being the one who was clarity, which was another mental apparition. So then the apertures went, first it went, and then went boom, yeah? And I went through about 7 of these, seemingly. Every month or two, something would happen, and then I would see this lazy way of assuming that's where I was. I saw it as a mental proposition, really. It was just an assumption, it was assumed, but I saw it, yeah? And I saw the activity and you could feel the space around it. So maybe 6 or 7 times, you know, over the next few months. And then it was like 100 monkey syndrome. I realized that which, wherever I, quote unquote, seemingly am, the mental state's going to claim, and it's going to imply it's me. Yeah, I don't need to be watching it for. I got it. The 100th monkey went bang. Yeah, so it took maybe 7 little ring, ding, 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 and then ding. Yes, maybe it'll take none for you. Maybe it'll take 1 for you. Maybe it'll take 20 for you. Who knows? Yes, but then you'll hear it, and when you hear it, you'll hear what's being said by these masters. Maybe in your own little way, but it will have so much weight to it, to the point where you don't need to have anything else. They're like little jewels that keep on emitting energy, and you just go there, and I have a great opportunity. I can use them all the time with the shares, because it just creates an avalanche in me every time. I mean, every time I've heard, what's looking is what you're looking for. You know, events happen, deeds are done, but there's no individual doer thereof. You know, these things just have triggered so much. Actually, nothing, but that's so much. You know? So that's why we come, and then over the years, I hope it gets more and more shrunk down to just because it's like, all right, now you see this little obscuring rope, let's say, and then you just pull each thread out, and you'll see it's nothing. Yeah, pull this thread out, just keeps pulling it out, and you'll see what you're not. And one of the times when you're seeing what you're not, there'll be a hit of what you are. Yeah, there'll be enough oomph that it will cause like a rotation from looking for what you are from what you're not, and then seeing what you're not, looking for what you are for what you are. Yeah? Yeah. Then it doesn't matter how much it looks like it's gone or disconnected or I'm fucked or this and that. It's all, yeah, just hold your breath for a little while. You'll see. It's just fucking, it's like those planes. You always get out of the house too late where they were writing something, but no, it's just all fucking, you know, it's like, what the fuck is that? Yeah. So, that's that. It's hilarious, really. It's fucking hilarious, man. All right, well, let's pass the basket.
Energy and frustration in doing all the seeking, and there's something that feels so futile about it, but it also seems like visceral.
I would take the futile. It's just revealed to you what you need. See, we're blind. Yeah? We're blind to it. You just told me the answer. It was delivered. It seems futile. Exactly.
Yeah. But it just, I think it's all the doer is so upset with not being able to get it done.
Well, the doer that's not there.
Exactly.
Are we done? Close the door if you're done.
Well, this looks like one of ours. You know what I mean? Inevitably, as we're going through time to come out of seeming time, it's such a beautiful statement the Course says. It says, you and I are the dreaming of the dream. Yeah? We're going to dream ourselves out of it, and as we do, the dream will get happier.
The dream will get happier.
Happier, yeah. Isn't that nice? It's a very soothing thing. So here you are.
Can you say it one more time? Can you say it one more time?
Yeah, you and I are the dreaming of the dream. I don't like dreams, so it's like you and I are the dreaming of the dream. We're going to dream ourselves out of the dream, and as we do, the dream will get happier. Yeah? So basically, You could go, hey, boom, nothing's going on, is it? Or you can do whatever you're gonna do. You always are gonna be out of what you can't be in. It just may seem longer, but you're always gonna be out of what you can't be in.
And I just feel it over and over. Yeah, like just the mind wanting to claim, or the mental process wanting to claim the dissociation, just wanting to take it, like take the prize. Yeah,
Yeah. Of course it's
and
gonna
want to take the prize, have the prize, have fought for it, have won it, and have it, like as a thing.
Well, that's gonna end. You're gonna end up in getting a nice lesson. So.
Totally.
Yeah,
So I can almost see it happening.
Yeah. Well, then maybe you'll need to see it happen, and then you realize you didn't need to, but then it seems like you needed to. So yeah, sure. Hey, listen. When I was in remember this retreat I went to in Thailand? It was a trippy place because it was a very used temple. It was like Thai people. And, in Thailand, everyone has to be a monk, any male, for 3 months of their life. Everybody. So the teenagers, they put on the robes, and they're Buddhist monks, 3 months, but it's like being in a fucking summer camp. So they're driving their little 2-stroke little things. They got ghetto blasters, and the guys that were near where I had this little, they call them cootie, I had a little shack where I was supposed to do meditating. They had these super high, powerful, what do you call those things? Slingshots, and they were hitting my little, tin building with these twing, twing. So you'd be sitting there, you'd be under attack. They're smoking outside across the way. Ting. This was, and then there, the dog, the Buddhism, they don't like killing things. So a lot of dogs, mongrel dogs, end up at temples, and they just live there. And these dogs, anytime they rang the bells, they went into like dogs of hell. No! They just start moaning for fucking, so at 4 in the morning when they wake us up, and then the airport, the planes kept flying right over the temple and going to the airport. There was no fucking peace to be had in this place. It was insane. And there I was. I mean, I felt great. Yeah. You can do something here and feel great, but is it gonna last? I don't believe so, because it's conditional. Conditional means if the condition changes, there goes the feeling. But what happens if you sense that which always is, or at least have a knowingness of it, then there's a stabilized possibility, and you actually lose interest in experience in a way, because you see the limitedness of it. Yeah, experience is so rudimentary compared to states or whatever. It's beyond states. Yeah, you would never buy an experience if you had the possibility of because that which doesn't come and doesn't go is so much more valuable than things that come and go. Yeah, that's the whole measuring stick Ramana had. Says if it doesn't last, it's got no value. Yeah, if it isn't always here, fuck it, really. Basically, that was his rule. So, yeah, all right. Well, we'll end with a prayer, and we're going to go to eat.